Hey guys, so here bringing you another video. Now welcome to another kind of dev update video. Had obviously the Aurelia one earlier this week, and now we've got straight away another one, but this is a little bit bigger because this is for the next big rework, if you want. Kind of like similar to the Dr. Munda one that obviously happened recently, and before that we've had, you know, a lot of reworks, Gangplank, Scion, etc. And UDYR is the next one, and just, you know, to say this is the early ideas of the champion. He's not being released until 2022, but it's really nice that Riot's being open in communication in basically, well, I'm recording this in July, but it was late June when they made this a couple of days ago, but it's great to see. So let's see what we think. We're going to kind of read through some of it. I'm not going to read through literally everything because I think that would just be, you know, you guys can do that at home. Let's just take kind of the big points and kind of give our opinion on it. Because I would say UDYR by concept could be a really cool champion. I think he just does suffer from being old. And he suffers from being old and also a basic champion. So when you combine those two ideals, it's a bit rough maybe of how healthy he feels, because either he's going to be really strong by just being statistically like stat checky in strength because he's very basic, or he's going to be really weak because again he's got no real big outplay potential in himself. So let's see what they say. So again, yeah, today we're going to give an update on the VGU. It's the one we voted for, if you do remember. We chose UDYR and blah, blah, blah. UDYR got to the poll in the first place because he is the last of the really, really visually outdated champions in the game. So, you know, that is their biggest reason of why they actually enabled UDYR to be part of the vote, is because he's visually really old. Beyond that, his gameplay is over a decade old, and it feels like it, unlike, let's say, Lee Sin, who still feels pretty good after all these years. So yeah, believe it or not, Lee Sin is a roughly 10-year-old champion as well, but Lee Sin has layered gameplay. He's got mechanics that layer on top of each other and work within the world of League of Legends, in the fact that he can do like an insect kick with a ward, that he can literally, you know, use the environment to his advantage. UDYR doesn't really have that. Obviously, UDYR is a very straightforward. There's not really, as weird as it's going to say, there's not really mechanics to UDYR. There's decision making. And when he doesn't really have mechanics and he's very straightforward and he looks really old and he is 10 years old, I think that's kind of the recipe of a rework is a good idea. So their main goals for UDYR's update are, so here we go, preserve UDYR's stance-changing identity and keep him as a primarily auto-attack / melee-focused champion. We think this is what makes UDYR unique and stand out on the roster. To help this gameplay feel more modern, we'll be looking to add a bit more interest to his stances and melee pattern to give more depth to playing him, as well as make it more clear when UDYR is doing something cool. He doesn't really have any... he doesn't really have a hype gameplay moment right now, which is true. Like, if you literally think of it, what would make you kind of go, oh god, UDYR, what an outplay? It doesn't exist. It's him running around and just kind of going, bear. Like, that's it. There's no outplay with UDYR. Yes, that doesn't mean that every UDYR is good or every UDYR is bad. There's strengths and weaknesses within UDYR, but it's just very straightforward. He doesn't have one of those, like, oh, if he does it mechanically... like a skill shot champion. If he lands that skill shot perfectly, he wins the fight. If he misses it, it doesn't happen. And oh god, he got it clutch, he hit the skill shot. UDYR doesn't have that. He's just UDYR. Number 2 is we want UDYR's visuals to modern League standard, while keeping his general theme of a warrior shaman intact. Our goal is to build on UDYR's visuals, not reinvent them. So they want him to be what he currently is, a druid man. And then finally, as for his narrative, we want to bring his in-game portrayal closer to how he's been portrayed in recent lore and give him stronger ties to the Freljord. So yeah, he is a Freljord champion. I think he's a Freljord champion that has Ionia mixed in a little bit there. And yeah, so right now UDYR is just kind of generic druid man that's 12 years old or whatever, you know, since near the alpha, probably UDYR. They want to modernize him, give him an actual faction, give him an identity. This, to me, how would I guess this is going to go down? Remember the Trundle rework? The Trundle was just a generic troll champion, when they did the rework, they made him a Freljord champion, and his base skin became Freljordian, and then his classic skin was the old kind of normal look, and you could have the classic skin if you owned Trundle on release of his rework. I would bet Udyr is going to do the same. So they're probably going to turn Udyr into a Freljord champ and maybe have classic Udyr skin, or maybe they won't even bother. But yeah, that would be my guess. So, shifting stances. So Riot Statue is the guy that's doing the gameplay designer behind Udyr, it looks like. And he's basically just saying his personal, that he's thrilled because him and Udyr go way back. So this is probably him just wanting to settle the minds, especially of Udyr players that go, I play Udyr, I know Udyr, I'm doing the rework, but I love Udyr. So maybe that's going to calm Udyr's down of going, oh god, they're going to change the champion, because it doesn't look like they're going to change it too much. Remember, they're not really going to do full reworks anymore. They don't really do that. They do visual reworks. The gameplays, they're very similar to the old champion. They just try to, what they try to do is it's a modern version. That's it. They don't try to go beyond that. I think the backlash that Riot got with Aatrox was enough to last a million years for the Riot dev team. So I don't think they want to have the backlash anymore. So yeah. So what I'm getting at is, while his straightforward melee style might not be for everyone's cup of tea, it's clear that Udyr's gameplay has stood the test of time. This all-melee brawler has carved out a clear niche for himself, so the plan is to stay true to Udyr we all know and love with this VGU. You may ask then, why are we updating his gameplay if he's so great? Well, we think the core of Udyr is really strong, and there's two main areas of improvement. Variant / high moments. Udyr's pace of play is pretty consistent from the moment he dings level 2, with no ultimate or other high power options, and a passive that says always be casting. I think that's the monkey aspect that makes him get attack speed, I think, or something like that. Udyr constantly churning out low to medium impact spells and doesn't hit those jaw-dropping moments that other champions can produce. As we mentioned a few times already, yeah, he just doesn't have any of those type of plays. We'd like to mix this up a little bit and introduce a few moments where everyone can look over and see Udyr doing something a little bit more visibly awesome and powerful. So that might make, right there, the champion might become more complicated. So if you are... The risk, what I've always said, is if you're like a one-trick Udyr, that he's a very basic champion, and they suddenly put a lot more layered gameplay on him, which complicates the champion, that could hurt you if you're only used to the really basic kit of Udyr. So they might make the, a little bit more layered, which I think that is a good thing. Udyr is a very basic champion. I know some people will say, like, oh, basic champions are needed. True, but I do think Udyr is maybe beyond too basic. He is literally just 4 spells that just affect a very basic aspect of him. They could be more. And then the next thing is thematic execution. Udyr's animal shaman x martial artist theme is pretty cool in a vacuum, but doesn't feel connected to Runeterra in a satisfying way. If Udyr can channel the greatest spiritual powers of the Freljord, what's with the turtle and the monkey? That's quite funny. There's nothing wrong with these animals per se, and we want to keep true to Udyr when possible, but we think that by making a few thematic tweaks, we can make an Udyr that has more exciting connections to the world around him. So if they're making him more Freljordian, I guess, expect his animals to change. Like, aspect of the bear can still change, right? Because, like, bear... by the way, it might not even be called aspect of the bear. I might be playing Hunter too much in WoW. But bear... Tiger technically could stay, because like Siberian tigers, and I'm pretty sure in Legends of Runeterra they do have a snowy tiger card. It might be a lion, but close enough. So yeah, turtle wouldn't be a thing. Monkey wouldn't be a thing. Phoenix can stay because of Anivia. Anivia's a cryo core phoenix from Freljord, so Phoenix technically can stay. But they would need a replacement to turtle. So I don't know what type of tanky animal is in the Freljord, or an aspect of the monkey. They'd need something new for that. So maybe, I don't know, aspect of the hawk instead of monkey, because there are hawks in the Freljord, I'm pretty sure, with the card game, so that could change right there. Both have kind of attack speed kind of similarities if that passive does stay. But anyway, to summarize, Udyr's gameplay update will address adding variants and high moments and delivering more strongly on a theme. These are the things they're trying to preserve, though, for current UDYR. UDYR's kit has 4 basic abilities that change stances with no ultimate. UDYR has no aimed or ranged abilities or significant dashes. He's an all-melee champion. UDYR can deal and or withstand a lot of damage based on his build. So if he builds squishy, he deals a lot of damage but probably doesn't take that much, or vice versa. He doesn't deal a lot of damage but he's very tanky. And then finally, UDYR can max different stances and plays differently when he does. Tiger versus Phoenix, single target versus AoE. So that's cool. That's what they're trying to preserve. So like, let's just go through. So the original pitch for this, of how they're trying to achieve it, is Super Stance Kit was that stances would passively grow in power as they went unused, such that if UDYR didn't cast a stance for several minutes, it would be supercharged and have some special and more powerful effect. That doesn't seem like a great idea, I would say, initially, because like, if you're wanting to be a Tiger UDYR, that would then make you not want to use Tiger form because you're saving for the super stance. So I'm not sure I like that. But yeah, it had some mixed results. Managing this power was awkward and often ran counter to the player wanted to do, yeah. But having a power up and using the super version of a stance was actually very exciting. After many iterations and variants of super stance, we think there might be something there. Today we're playing around with kits where UDYR can recast his active stance to use a super version on a cooldown. We're all still considered other possible directions, but here are some. Here's UDYR's casting some experimental stances and recasting them. So remember, it's subject to change. The video auto played, so I'll have to play it from the beginning. So this is Tiger stance. I remember they haven't done the art yet, so he still looks bad. He's going to get a full art rework, remember. So Tiger... Oh, so he's got AoE lightning. I guess kind of like Volibear. That makes sense being Freljord, right? This is Turtle. Oh god, that was like a massive shield. And then that's Bear, I think. That he's got a AoE is after him. He's like leaving a AoE. And then Phoenix. It's like a Ice Phoenix. Oh god, is that a skill shot? Wait, was that a skill shot? Hang on. That looks like he has a skill shot. Look! Oh god, it's like an Ice Phoenix. So again, a little bit maybe more Freljordian themed, but that's kind of cool. So the idea, again, if you've not grasped or fully got it yet, UDYR will still be QWER, different stances on all 4. When you press Q, let's say it's still Tiger stance, you can press Q anytime you want, like current UDYR, but once a minute, if you press Q again while you're in Tiger, it'll activate the Super Tiger. And the Super Tiger, you know, as this example would give, Super Tiger will make you do AoE lightning damage on your attacks as well as be normal Tiger form. So that's the idea. So yes, UDYR doesn't have an ultimate. The idea is basically each stance has its own mini ultimate on a cooldown. I think that's actually a really cool idea. What that does is, we said it earlier, that adds layered gameplay of making, you know, where UDYR right now, he never has to think about, oh, I can't do that play because I don't have Bear stance. He always has it. UDYR's got no cooldowns practically. But this will actually give UDYR a decision-making on timing of going, I actually have to wait for my super stance Bear or my super stance Tiger to make this play happen. That adds decision-making, that adds layered play. I think that's a really good idea. I like that a lot. So his secondaries resource bar indicates the recast cooldown, but the CD was reduced dramatically for this capture. Okay, there you go. So, yeah, that down here is where he can recast it, but they've sped it up, obviously, for this capturing. But that's kind of cool. UDYR's rules. So hang on. Yeah, there's a skill shot in there. I thought I saw a skill shot with Phoenix. We experiment with breaking some of these core UDYR rules. So they did say earlier they wouldn't give him a skill shot. It's good practice to test our assumptions to see if they were more constraining than useful. In this case, the all melee constraint seemed correct. So we decided to stick with it. So right there, that AoE Phoenix, skill shot from the Phoenix form, that ain't happening because they just said they're going to keep him to all melee. My next plan is to explore how far the stances can go. Should they be simple upgrades to the base stance, or can they be a little bit more differentiated? What are the craziest effects we can add on empowers, and so on? And that's about it. Remember, we're still at the point that all of this could change. But yeah, so my summary of his gameplay, the idea of giving him empowered stances, I love the idea. My only, again, I will say Riot is constantly looking for feedback. So I will give mine, and you guys in your, give yours in the comments. With him being a druid, in my mind, why wouldn't you do it kind of like a more Skarner effect or a Kiana effect? That he gets things from the environment or the scenery that, I don't know, just literally throwing this out randomly, that if he walks in a river, that'll empower, if he has a stance that's kind of connected to a water animal from the Feral Jord, well, then that kind of connects to that. If he's in a bush, then that could be a more stealthy, like a tiger. That would give the tigers empowered. Or he's in lane, I guess, or whatever, out in the open, then it's kind of like the, like the, I don't know, the bear that, like, I don't care, fight me, like a volley bear. Like, maybe the environment could kind of give him the empowered effect rather than just like being able to press it every now and then. Again, just my own rough idea, just spitballing here, but that could also be cool because there's not many champions in League that do kind of affect the scenery and vice versa. Like, Kiana was a newer champion that obviously takes her W depending what she takes it from. That could be cool. If they are trying to connect him to the world, like they've said here, that would really connect him to the world when he's literally empowering himself from what he's doing on the map. That would be my idea. Going into beast mode. So again, I'm not going to read all of this, but we've seen these before. These were the early designs of what they wanted UDYR to potentially be. But if I'm not mistaken, the community liked them. They were cool. But I don't know would they say here? I remember people complaining about the hair. That, like, if you look at his hair, it looks like he's been to a Noxian barber. Literally, like, Draven type of hair. A druid probably wouldn't really have that. But anyway, the 3 pillars of his design moving forward. Freljordian Primal Shaman. Denoted by antlers, long hair, and feathers and trinkets in his hair. Strong melee fighter, channeling animal spirits. And traveling spirit walker. His travels to Ionia given him discipline needed to hone the powers and strengthen his connection to the spirit realm. Bead necklace, Ionian rope belt, tattoos, and markings. So he's a combination between animal man and Ionia, which is cool. And this is maybe the more modern version. Ah, there you go. Ah, hair. I'll be the first to admit UDYR's hair was a bit off for the first spread. And a lot of you called... Yeah, see... A lot of the community were like, dude, he's like a wild man. Why does he have styled hair? The intent was to give him a cleaner style, almost like a fighting game character in order to denote his melee combat abilities. But in doing so, I strayed too far from UDYR's shamanistic wandering lifestyle. He's out in the woods, not in the streets. So here's some more like natural styles. He kind of looks like a Viking, kind of. In refining his overall design, we thought it would be way cooler and more unique if he had tattoos of the animals of the spirits he channels. Oh, snap! That's kind of a leak. Well, it's not a leak. So, I said earlier they're going to change the animals? Yep, look, everybody. The animals are different. So, right? There's no tiger. Ox? So, what's that one? That looks like a boar. That's boar? That looks like a boar. Boar, ox, bear, hawk, or phoenix, one of the two. So yeah, so tiger's going, turtle's going, because yeah, that's definitely a boar. That's like Pumbaa. That's an ox. That's a bear still, and that's a phoenix / hawk. Cool. I like that. That's awesome. So that is basically this might be the design. Yeah, so that right there, everybody, that is UDYR. That is what they're going to make him look like. But he kind of looks like the Big Lebowski. Does anyone know the film? The dude with Jeff Bridges? He kind of looks like he kind of looks like Thor from Endgame. Yeah, that's kind of funny. That is actually kind of funny. So I like it. I think it looks cool. It looks modern. It still looks like UDYR. If someone said to me, you know, who's that LoL champion? And I had none of this prior knowledge, I would go, UDYR. Like, I would legit go, yeah, that's UDYR. That's a modern day UDYR. So that's really good. And then they're talking about his voice. I'm not really going to talk about his voice, but there he is, everybody. That is him. So those are like lightning. They look like lightning tiger claws, which again, we saw the lightning AoE effect earlier. I don't know if it's still going to be technically tiger. They could change. I reckon, wow, yeah. I reckon current tiger stance is now going to be bear stance, judging off the animals that they have here. Because a bear, big lightning claws like Volibear, that would make sense, right? Phoenix can stay the same. It's like a cryo phoenix. I reckon ox would make sense to be current. Oh, both a boar and an ox is kind of similar. Which one would be the shielder? Which one would be the running at and stun? If they're keeping it obviously that way, which I'm guessing they probably are. I would imagine ox might be the shield and boar might be the run at you and chase and then stun when I get to you maybe. But both, they could flip-flop those two quite easily. But there you go. That is UDYR. Quite exciting. I'm actually really hyped for the UDYR rework. I'm exciting to make, you know, one of League's most basic and old champions, elevate him, modernize him. That's going to be great. So if you guys are excited about that, let me know. And I think right here at the end, Riot might actually say, here. So what's next? Releasing him in 2022. More dev updates to come. But they said, we'd love to hear what you think so far. What excites you? What would you want to see more of? Does anything feel untrue to UDYR? Let me know in the comments down below. These are the type of videos that Riot will watch, and they'll look into the comment section of what the community thinks and feels. But that's going to be it. Like, comment, subscribe. See you guys next time, and hopefully you enjoy this type of video. But anyway, see you guys next time. Please do subscribe. Goodbye.